Good girl. So I wanted to talk to you guys about place and ways to integrate it at home, because it is probably one of the hardest commands to teach a dog. It's also one of the hardest commands to integrate at home. And I'll be honest, it took me about 8 years of dog training before I realized how much I actually love this command. I used to fight teaching it so much. And really, what it is teaching a dog boundary control and at the same time how to settle. So, as a kid, I really struggled in sitting calmly in a seat. So I used to have to take my hands and sit on my hands as a kid, and then I had to cross my legs. And usually what would happen is I'd do this as a kid. It's essentially what we're asking the dogs to do in a place command. They're just really uncomfortable of like, blah, I want to do stuff. Teddy, leave it. Hey. Yes, good. Come here. So when we're working with Teddy, and especially at home, one thing that I'd recommend is putting on a slip lead. Even if it's dragging and it's just hanging off of her, never leave her unattended with the slip lead dragging. Good, there you go. But I would recommend putting this on because it's the difference of putting on shoes versus being barefoot. It just shifts your perspective a little bit. If you ever have trouble cleaning your house or staying focused in cleaning your house, put on a pair of shoes. You'll actually stay focused and have more motivation to finish cleaning your house. Same thing with the slip lead. So by putting that on, she's going to be a little bit more engaged. Now, having treats is always a way to do it, especially when you're watching TV, if you're going to have dinner. Teddy, sit. Sit. Place. Good girl. Yes. So you sit like this and you start having a conversation. She can be right next to you and you can occasionally reward. Now if she tries to jump up or she does that, that's where you can take that slip lead and and you just sit. Good. Down. Now, I really, to be 100% honest, don't care if a dog sits or downs and does place. If I ask for a down place, then they do stay in a down place. If I ask for a sit place, they can do a sit or a down place. Ideally, all dogs settle like this. But the way to practice it, no ma'am, is by reinforcing it. So, you will watch a TV show, you have a cup of coffee, sit, place, good. And you watch something and just know that you're gonna about probably every 2 to 3 minutes, she's gonna pop up, she's gonna bug you, she might woof a little bit. But when she settled like this, I didn't ask her for it, I just asked her for that place. And I just kind of ignored her. I'm gonna give her a treat, and then I'm gonna say place. Treats are the periods at the end of sentences. This is, I'm done, now what? So when you do it's called a bridge command of keep going or continuation, that's where it's good girl, yes, good girl, here's a reward, okay, place. We gotta tell her, hey, we're still doing this thing. You can take a toy, you can take treats, you can take balls, and you can be like, leave it. And this is where if you don't trust her, which is fair, have that leash in your lap. Don't put tension on that because that's saying, hey, pay attention. Sorry, kid. Good girl, place. What it is leave it. Can you sit? Yes. Or better yet, what if it's a sibling? It's a cat. It's one of the dogs. It's a family member, human or feline or canine. Yes, good girl. Leave it. And when she does pull off of it, come here. On your place. Come on. Yes. Sit. Good girl. Place. And then you hang out here. Give it a second. See how she's looking at it. She's thinking about it. She's processing. She's going to probably pout a little bit. She got down and then she's like, okay, now I can go. And all you just give her is an You can give her a little bit of a leash correction of just tug and pull, but it's not pulling that I'm trying to teach her. I'm trying to give her the release of the focus. Kiddo. Teddy, leave it. On your place. I got fur in my nose. I'm so sorry. Come here. Place. Oh my goodness. Yes, good girl. Down. Now, having a treat to lure her for this. Down. Yes. No ma'am. Good. But I'm not rewarding her after every single time. It's, hey, you have to focus. You have to work for this. When we do a variation reinforcement schedule or variable reinforcement schedule from a technical standpoint, this is where it's teaching her. It's a gambling game. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't get it, but I have to focus on it. But notice how she still knows in her head, if I were to drop the leash and walk away, she'd go like, great, You're gone, I'm gonna go get this. So that's where proximity or thresholds, distance, distraction, duration, environment comes into play. You can be ridiculous where you have, French fries. My downfall right now is veggie sticks from Trader Joe's. It's salty, crunchy air. I'll put that right next to me on the couch, and I'll have my corgi drool up a storm place because she wants it so badly. So that's where you can reinforce. Yes, good girl. Hey, can you sit? Place. That's where you can reinforce. Hey, we're still doing this. We're still practicing this. Watch, if you're watching a Star Wars, one of the newest episodes, if you're watching whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It can be 20 minutes on TikTok or Instagram, but we're practicing this behavior. You have neutrality to it. My focus is filming right now. It's not the focus of her. And I actually kind of using the phone to help gauge where she is. I'm not staring at her going, okay, where are you going? Are you doing a girl? Oh my goodness, yes. This is a lot of energy. This right on is a lot. So can I sit to the side and relax here? Honestly, could you do meditation? If you have to do a meditative state, can you sit here and focus on yourself? And this just helps her focus, helps her getting away. But we earn the privilege to have a longer lead. We earn the privilege to be further away. We earn the privilege to handle longer and longer distractions. Okay. She gets released. Now that release command, this is where you're really making sure that she doesn't get to come off this place cot until you give an okay or Teddy okay. If you want to define it even further, you can use a specific release command as free, break, release. But generally, most of us humans are totally okay with the okay, because that's what we say naturally. Good girl, Teddy. Yeah, that's good girl. And when she's being a brat, when she's being pushy, when she's being way too nosy, throw in her slip lead. Sit. Good. Place. Place is learning how to settle. Place is learning yes. Place is learning how to be calm. And that's hard, especially for this age range. But it must be taught. This is the boring, unfit, flattering things about training. Hey, about training. You can also just put her leash on your foot and you ignore her. I know that's the worst thing, isn't it, for you, kid? But if you ignore her in this capacity and you just sit here and watch a TV show, she'll try to chew on it, which she's doing right now. She'll try to eventually sit and just lay down and be like, all right, fine, this is what we're doing. But teaching her how to process and regulate, teaching her in a constructed format, these are all things right there. That, I didn't tell her anything, but just put the leash on my foot. And she's like, okay. She's looking for me to what to do. Yes, go girl. But this is where we can reward it and then go back to what we're doing. I would say at home, 15 minutes every day. If you can find something, a phone call, you're cooking dinner, you're unloading the dishwasher, you're taking the groceries out of the car, put her in a place cot and practice your distractions. Place when you're unloading the dishwasher can be right next to the dishwasher, so you're not going too far. Going in and out of the house for getting groceries, that's a little bit harder, but hey, it's only 2 or 3 minutes. Find things that you can try and do the command even if you don't trust her. You have to pretend that you trust her in doing that place because it will change how your body language is communicating with her. But also put a slip lead on. It can drag for 15 minutes. It's totally okay. These are some of the things that I'd recommend trying for a place command. It's also something that I wanted to kind of show this capacity of just, and if I take this off, there you go get it. Now she's not off a slip lead. So this is where, Teddy, come here. Can you sit? Place. You can see where she's thinking more about coming off of it. Because now there's no force whatsoever. It's truly her own decision. But it's providing the space in there. The biggest thing is you have to be neutral when you're doing this. You have to go in a Zen state or like I don't care what happens in this state. Yes, place. And practice doing something like this. Let me know if this helps. This is the hardest thing for us as humans because we want to micromanage everything, even if we don't mean to. Give her the space and opportunity to do it. Yes, girl, place. And find little ways to integrate it throughout your day. Okay. let me know if this helps or if it doesn't, and because there's other ways to teach this too. So let me know and we'll go from there.